we are. First, of course, I want to acknowledge my wife, Elaine. 37 years. 37 years. Without whom, I would like to point out, without whom Lillian would not be possible. And here we are at one of life's great milestones. It's been a long haul, but when you consider our two brilliant, industrious, and beautiful daughters, anyone would have to conclude that we did very much more right than wrong. Let me introduce some other people here tonight. On videography is my best friend, Bill Van Erp. Thank you. You all complained that my speech last year was not taped, so we're fixing that. Our musical director for both days, this is just an astounding story, is John Capobianco. And John has two incredible qualities that brings him here. One is that he is my oldest friend. We grew up next to each other. We're 2 years apart. The other is that we both admitted it's an accident, and he doesn't hold me responsible. But I did bash him in the head with a baseball bat, and I use that to take credit for him becoming one of the country's great horn players. He's the man on first call in the Bay Area for all major events. John, thank you for being here. I know you don't have to be here. And his side players, Benny Watson and Carla Kaufman, thank you for coming as well. I'll be offering some remarks and a formal blessing after my toast. I'll give you plenty of warning when to raise your glasses. I'd like to invite, thank you for inviting me back to speak. Besides, no, you were all very complimentary, and I appreciate it. But besides our admiration and love for Angie and Lillian, I like to think that some of the excitement last year came from giving voice to our shared values, celebrating the unity of who we are, how we see the world, and how we wish to move forward. Something old, something new. When you're doing a marriage like this, isn't it the truth? I've learned that slogan, everybody has to go through this, but it's a balancing act between respect for tradition and trying to push ahead. Something old, something new. Guess which side, guess which part of that I represent. We'll have some something new speakers a little later, I hope. My humble goal is to just draw a thread of connections quickly from my formative influences, our family experiences, and my perspective on this event in Lillian's life. Plainly enough, Elaine and I came from liberal stock. We are liberals. Judaism was my formative influence, and in the 60s that meant that you were part of the civil rights movement. And in the 70s, fear of the draft could make you a real believer, because if you wanted to be a conscientious objector, you had to anchor that application on a religious basis. So I was pretty rabbinical. But at the end of the day, I make a terrible follower of anything, Elaine as well. And the point is that Lillian and Claire were raised to be their own people. We tried to give them every option they chose. As far as I can recall, at no time did we force them to adopt any belief system or any lifestyle. For example, they chose vegetarianism by option. So from diet to deities, we have let both kids think things through for themselves. You like that one? Diet to deities? That's good writing, isn't it? This is why I sweat. Now listen, I have to tell you, when you prepare a speech like this, one of the most enjoyable things is scaring the hell out of your daughters. All right, let me go on. So the only thing I told both kids was don't thoroughly trust your teachers. There's a good chance that you're smarter than they are, and stay on your toes. As to Judaism, basically they thought it cool to light candles and hear Dad say some weird old words. But in general, it's what the idea we tried to convey. And I had a great conversation with Wade today, which gave me an idea. Because what we tried to convey was it's not what you think, it's that you think. And that means to me, in the case of religion, let's put it this way. I just want to use this example. You're supposed to use 2 candles for Sabbath. If you only use 1 candle, to me, that's a problem of ritual. That doesn't mean much. But if that candle, as it does, around the world, stand as a universal symbol of freedom, light, emancipation, if we lose that light, the entire scene changes. So that's how I see it. There's a difference between taking religion seriously and taking it too damn seriously. I should relight that, but I don't have a lighter. You get the idea. Oh yeah, and there was a line in here that I don't know how many real Jews there are out there, but I have to apologize to all of you because I'm breaking laws left and right here. Okay, let's talk about Lillian. So when Lillian worked with the ACLU and other rights groups, built houses in Guatemala, blows my mind, in a village where there was no mirror. We're so concerned about our appearance, they didn't even have a mirror by which people could learn their own appearance. They couldn't identify themselves in photographs. Toured the South, met the historic Congressman John Lewis, became a leader in local rights groups such as Outlet. This I saw as a natural outcome of our liberal values. To be sure, Lillian still cut her own path. It was tough at times, but at the end of it all, she found Angie and a career. I have no fear of public speaking, but this is the toughest speaking job I've ever had to do. And I tell you, to see Angie and Lillian go through planning this event in itself is cause for great pride and honor to both families. Many of us have dealt with stress to get here, but especially to see these kids work together, it's just inspiring, and it gives me very great confidence for their future. It reminds me of the best partnering that Elaine and I were able to form. Very thankfully, I don't need to spend much time on this. Now, Angie and Lillian's marriage can be free of stress from government fiat. They are one of the earliest to benefit from a profound moral and legal shift in civil rights, delivered in an unexpected and historic opinion that the couple has asked me to read. And I believe these words came from Justice Kennedy. No union is more profound than marriage, for it embodies the highest ideals of love, fidelity, devotion, sacrifice, and family. In forming a marital union, two people become something greater than once they were. As some of the petitioners in these cases demonstrate, marriage embodies a love that may endure even past death. It would misunderstand these men and women to say they disrespect the idea of marriage. Their plea is that they do respect it. They respect it so deeply that they seek to find its fulfillment for themselves. Their hope is not to be condemned and to live in loneliness, excluded from one of civilization's oldest institutions. They ask for equal dignity in the eyes of the law. The Constitution grants them that right. This is really a huge step forward. And Angie and Lillian have been heroic in the vanguard of this movement. I'd like to point out the court identified two issues in the question, and I think it's very important to talk about both of them. The court impressively highlights the right to self-expression and self-acceptance, and it's upon this right that I want to conclude. Marriage is not just a state of mind. Marriage is not just a government license. Marriage is a complex social institution that all should be free to legally enjoy. The full rights of marriage extend to recognition by one's family and community, to fully enjoy a sense of sanctification, however they may seek it. And it is that part we come together to provide, today, tomorrow, and for decades to come. Lillian never asked my advice on dating. Can't imagine why. And I never volunteered it, except first, I do remember here, after some event, saying directly to Lillian that Angie was a real delight. I found her refreshing, intelligent, relatable. We get along real well. I'll leave space for friends to fill in her other list of great qualities. My interest is more specific. My interest is in my daughter's future. And if the question is, how do I feel about my daughter marrying Angela Ming Tai, the answer is, I feel great. This is not a fling. I have seen them under many conditions. It's so cute. You know, the kids have these little wireless phones these days that they use occasionally to talk to each other. If you define occasionally as every 5 minutes. Angie takes care of things. She has an interest in rescues, an instinct to heal. Not just dogs and people, but situations. She has it's a need to create a nourishing environment. She committed to moving to Santa Barbara, as Elaine mentioned. She's been good for Lillian. She's rekindled the lights in Lillian's eyes. As for Lillian, if I had more time, I would tell you of... One second. Oh. If I had more time, I'd tell you about our slot car collection.
Hold it up.
This is it.
Is it the clear one?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a badass slot car. Look at that soldering underneath and those fins. She actually had a birthday party at the slot car track. I'm not going to tell you about that. I don't have time. I don't have time to tell you about our giant styrofoam sculptures, about our first simulator ride in Vegas, after which I think you were 9, and or either 9 or 12, I don't know. And we both agreed. I mean, she was so perceptive. We both agreed that no simulator ride after that one was anything like the first one. And we analyzed it. Was it the crowd? What was it? Was it us? Was this, that? I won't tell you about her tendency to overdo every ride at the county fair. I made most of the points I can uniquely contribute. Today, Lillian is a happier, more productive person than I can ever recall. Thank you, Angie. With you, Lillian has created a life she can embrace with enthusiasm and gratitude. Okay, what's going to happen now is three things. I'm going to give a toast. Then I'm going to give a blessing in Hebrew. And then I'm going to reveal why this big screen is sitting next to me. You raise your glasses if you like, or your toasting devices. My toast for you is that through unconditional love, may you sanctify each other's days and provide for greater comfort in this life. V'yarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panavelecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panavelecha v'yasem lecha. Shalom. Lord, bless thee and keep thee. Lord, cause his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Lord, lift up his countenance upon thee and grant thee peace. And a strong love to carry you away. I hope I exceeded the bar set last year. Thank you very much.